Welcome to Dr Joe Unplugged. The topics discussed in this podcast will reflect my opinions and are not in any way to be regarded as medical advice. All human cultures and societies have developed forms of music. It's really quite fascinating when you look at people who've lived remotely, like, say, for example, the Indigenous in Australia, remote societies in other parts of the world as well, have all developed some form of music. Pretty much every human society. Now, again, I'm happy to stand corrected if somebody knows that there is a tribe or an ethnic or cultural group that's never had music. I'm happy to stand corrected, but I don't think there'd be too many. And the question could arise, well, why is that? And I don't propose to have any answer, but virtually all people like music. Now, people have different tastes in music, sure. Some people like classical music, some people like heavy metal. Again, if you're from, Southeast Asia, the type of music they have there, I'm not sure whether there's a specific generic term to describe it. I'm not aware. There might be, but for people who've been there, it is a little bit different to, in inverted commas, Western music. Pop or rock music, fairly recent in human history, and jazz music a bit before that. But there's probably a reason why all these societies have developed music, and it's generally relaxing and enjoyable. Many clinics in Germany have incorporated music therapy to address mental and physical health conditions. There is good evidence of effectiveness, said the chairman of the German Music Therapy Society and organiser of the 13th European Music Therapy Congress. Germany had hosted International Music Therapy Congress in 1996. Nearly 9,000 music therapy-related articles have been published, including 1,500 randomised controlled trials. Germany has guidelines on dementia, which has the highest level of evidence-based medical recommendations, endorses music therapy to ease symptoms such as anxiety, restlessness, and apathy. It's also included in 37 national clinical guidelines in Germany. That's quite extraordinary. And as always, we'll put the link in the description. Certainly in Australia, I'm pretty sure in America, the UK, certainly the Anglosphere, music is not seen as necessarily therapeutic. Might be nice, but not therapeutic. And in Germany, it seems quite incorporated into their treatment. And there certainly has been work done that shows in dementia, music can be soothing and can help with behavioural issues. We also know with children, lullabies help get them off to sleep. And with adults, soft music can also be helpful for sleep, and it can be relaxing. Music therapy has been studied in the context of chronic pain. Overall effect is comparable to opioids, but without unwanted side effects. It's actually really, really fascinating stuff. Music therapy also improves sleep and helps reduce fatigue, anxiety, and depression. Among newborns, music therapy has been shown to improve oxygen saturation, heart and respiratory rates, and premature infants supports the development of a functional brain. Again, it's not a cure-all for everything. And there's been some work done for people with cancer, again, improving their mood and, sense of well-being. Raises the question, why might it not be used more often and why isn't it promoted? And for those of you who've listened to the podcast previously, thanks for that. And for those of you who are new, welcome aboard. There's not any money in it. You can't patent it. Now, yes, you can copyright music, sure, but you can't patent music therapy and put it into a pill and make a mozza. So it doesn't really get promoted that much. It's too simple. There is a view that anything in health that's got to be useful has got to be somehow, it's got to be expensive, and even better if it comes in a pill that's patented. Music calms the savage beast. Again, in terms of behavioural issues, there's even been shown some work in children with more severe autism with behavioural issues. that there can be some benefits there as well, because it's soothing. And if it's soothing and we feel better, and that's even if we've got no particular medical issue, it's going to be helpful, because if we are more relaxed, we may get out of fight or flight mode and get into parasympathetic mode, which is the opposite of fight or flight. That's when we're calming down a little bit, and we feel less anxious. Again, according to a 2019 German Institute of Quality and Efficacy in Healthcare reported that access to outpatient treatment is unequal. This is in terms of music therapy. But you got to say, in Germany, they appear to be out of the pack in terms of the rest of the world. Once again, if other countries are using this form of treatment or therapy, then I'm happy to stand corrected. Once again, we don't need to make health more complicated than it needs to be. Now, I'm staggered that the effect of music on chronic pain is comparable to opioids, and I probably have a small question mark over that. That might be a function of dose and then the individual and a whole lot of factors, but the work is the work. But as we know, not all medical studies are that good, and they might not be reproducible. But in the same way that if music helps with calming and it helps with mood and it can help with sleep, then all of that combined is going to have some impact on pain, even if it's an indirect one through pain perception. Now, is that saying that everybody can throw away their tablets? No, it's not saying that. Might it be in some instances that incorporating some non-pharmaceutical treatments may improve people's conditions and either lead to a reduction, or in some instances, people being able to come off their medications? Look, that's going to be different for all individual people, and no, you shouldn't stop your tablets without consulting your doctor. Just, let me underline that point. So I think what's really interesting and fascinating in this, apart from the obvious, the impacts of music and that it has been studied but doesn't get promoted, is that we do find different approaches in different countries, and the reasons for that presumably are cultural, may reflect the interests of the of the doctors and researchers in those countries. But approaches and treatments and methods that aren't patentable don't get a lot of publicity. And again, for regular listeners, you'll know my thoughts on how big public health really is only interested in taxing and banning. Well, you can't really do that with music either. So it just doesn't get publicity. And it is again seen as too simple, but it's empowering for people to be able to utilize music in a way that is beneficial to them. And that's not saying that you can't just listen to music because you like it or enjoy it. You can and you should do that. And that's part of, the pillars of health is relaxation. It's just enjoying what you're doing. Not everything has to have a purpose other than of itself. In the same breath, there's capacity for music to be part of treatment in a number of conditions. Then the question really does arise is, why are other countries and other health systems not looking to what's going on in Germany and seeing where they might be able to apply it in their own systems? And that includes within Australia, where there appears to be little or no interest for all the reasons we've spoken about. The good news, you can enjoy music. You can, stream it on your phone. Through my lifetime, I've seen LP records sort of rise and then fall, and, they are actually back again. But, cassettes are a thing of the past. Walkmans are a thing of the past. Even CDs are almost a thing of the past. We can now stream digital music wherever we are. And, that's the upside of devices. So enjoy your music. Obviously, listen to what you enjoy. And the likelihood is that apart from it being good, it's probably doing you some good. Thanks for listening to Dr. Joe Unplugged. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, share, and consider subscribing. Tell your friends. If there are topics you'd like to see covered, be in touch through the chat or email info@drjoe.net.au. We'll be uploading new content each Monday, and soon we'll be putting these videos out on X. You can follow me there at Dr. Joe's DIY Health.